Hey everyone, I am here with John Ayo, and we just recorded a couple great episodes of the podcast. I'm super excited to have him here on Casual Conversations. He's an internationally recognized keynote speaker, wellness expert, and author. He actually was part of the team that helped close the largest software deal in the history of IBM, which was worth over $1 billion. And he's also, grab a copy of his book, johnayo.com is his website. You can grab a copy of his book called Travel Balance because he's also a travel expert. John, what's up, man?
Hey, Mario, it's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we had so much fun doing the podcast. I can't wait for those episodes to drop. And it's great to be able to chat with you, especially I think it's even more relevant in today's world, right? With
Man, there's
everything
some
that's happening.
crazy stuff going on these days. Very unique times for sure. And I'm excited to, look at where this thing is headed. I'm optimistic that it's going to have people look more and more to the natural health world. Obviously, I'm very passionate about helping the body. As a naturopath, we believe that the body knows how to heal itself if we give it what it needs and take away the things that are hurting it. And so people are learning more and more about that because they kind of have to these days and have a lot more time to do that. And so I am excited about that and happy to share with folks.
Is there something that you see that is maybe a trend or something that's super common among most of the people that you work with?
Um, the key is taking responsibility for your health. So whenever I have any new clients come in, I always tell them, look, I don't heal you, only you heal you. God heals you. I just help. Any practitioner is the same way. So I'm in an office with 2 acupuncturists and 2 chiropractors. And all of the modalities, if you look at all the different natural health modalities, I talk about this in my presentations, the common theme amongst all of them, whether it's massage, Reiki, or acupuncture, or chiropractic, or naturopathy that I do biofeedback in my practice. The theme is removing stressors from the body so it can heal itself. Whether that's a vertebrae that's imbalanced or you've got a blockage in the meridians that requires needles to take them out. So I'm excited when people come in and take responsibility for their health. And again, I think these times are going to push more and more people away from give me a pill for this problem. And I want to feel healthy because I don't want to be immunocompromised or be in that high risk group. So how do I get rid of my stuff? And so I'm excited that it will drive more people into our world.
What led you into that world?
Well, I got sick 20 years ago. Wasn't on my plan, as an IBMer, longtime IBMer in sales. It's not like I woke up one day and went, I'm not busy enough as an IBM sales rep. I think I'll be a naturopath today. I got sick. And when you get sick, all of a sudden, nothing else matters anymore. And so my complete attention, my undergrad degree is in engineering. My attention went to the body and how can I heal me? And so I started going to chiropractors and acupuncturists, and they became teachers and friends, and I got fascinated with it. And so this is my passion, is to share and help people to learn about, in a common, simple way, how can you stay healthy? What can you do to get there and stay there? Because the world we have of our medical system, while it's awesome at acute care, is not so good at chronic care. They're very good at, if you're in an accident, putting you back together again, but just natural day-to-day stuff, not so much.
Before you got sick, what was your lifestyle like?
It
Were you
wasn't bad.
interested at all in health
I was
before that?
pretty healthy for the most part and would work out and do a bunch of different things, but I had a bunch of issues. I mean, here's one that most people don't know about. If you've been to a bunch of different doctors and you got something going on and they can't find out what it is, you got to look at your teeth. So the teeth are a big part of the whole body. If you've got amalgam fillings or you've got some root canals or things like that, that can be causing problems you would never know. And I had a mouthful of amalgam fillings from when I was a little boy. So got those things removed and just went on a major detox journey, and then learned about the things that are hurting me. And so it was a really, real eye-opener. So it wasn't that my lifestyle changed too dramatically. It just, as I learned new things, I changed accordingly. And I still am, because we're always learning.
What are you studying today? What's like your biggest passion right now in the health world?
Well, here's one of the things that's fascinating is I believe that the body is way more electrical than it is chemical. And so when you look at biochemistry and you look at all the pH and things like that, that's important, but the voltage in the body is key. And so one of the doctors here in Dallas that I'm a big fan of is Dr. Tennant, that wrote a book on this called Healing is Voltage. And so I'm focused in on the impacts of electromagnetic fields on the body and how that can hurt and help us. So when you look at being exposed to Wi-Fi constantly and 4G and 5G networks and sitting on an airplane with Wi-Fi bouncing around, there's a big impact on our bodies. And it's becoming bigger and bigger because technology and the networks are much more invasive on us.
That's funny you mentioned that because my father's a chiropractor, so and he's also does all of those things, and he's got a neurology background, and just he loves to study that stuff. And so I become a guinea pig for a lot of his things, which I
Yeah.
enjoy. It's like it's a perk of association, right? But in any case, when you talk about electricity, he was very, for like the last 5 years, he's been very fascinated by, like, he has a PEMF mat and
Hmm.
things like that. And I've been hearing this stuff, and I don't know nearly as much about it as him, but I do know that when I go in and I lay on that mat for 30 minutes or however long, it does make you feel different.
It
And
does.
people will say, what is that? You don't feel anything when it's happening. You're just laying on this mat. What's it? But there is something there. I
Right.
can just
Well,
tell by how it feels.
Well, as we all talk about in our podcast episodes, there's a huge impact with the sun and the earth. We're meant to be connected to the planet. We've disconnected ourselves. So rubber-soled shoes, while they're a great invention, completely isolate us from connecting with the planet with bare feet on the earth. And when you do that, there's a heartbeat of the earth called the Schumann frequency. That's about 7.83 cycles per second, which coincides with a brainwave pattern called alpha, which is what helps us to calm down. So when we stand bare feet on the earth, it's like a metronome. It helps our body to sink in to that calming frequency. The PEMF mats have a component of that in there. So when you're laying on it, it's pulsing your body at a certain rate that's known to us for thousands of years. This is what we're supposed to feel, but we don't feel it anymore because we don't walk bare feet on the earth.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially with like the Wi-Fi and the cell phones and all of these things that we don't even see that are just present. It's like the silent assassin over
It
time.
really is. Well, it's a silent mega stressor. So we've got all these stressors in our life, the stuff we see, what we hear, what we smell, all that stuff, that we are aware of. There's the subconscious, programs in our brain, of course, but then there's these silent mega stressors, the Wi-Fi, the 5G, the 4G, cell phones on your body and near you. It's not good. And then people wonder, why can't I sleep at night? Why am I so jacked up?
And then on top of that, we have these little TVs and computers that are in our pockets all day. So we're being constantly bombarded with
Yeah.
advertisements and messaging and messages from other people. And it's funny. And I hear people say this all the time, but we're more connected than ever. But at the same time, it's driving us farther apart than ever.
Well, it is. And part of this whole COVID thing, I think, is a big global reboot. I'd like to think of it as installing a new operating system on the planet. And I'm very optimistic that it's going to bring out the best of us, because I think that when times get like this, that it does bring out the best in people, and we realize the things that are really important. And so I've always been a big proponent in corporate America of slowing down this hamster wheel, because this thing is spinning like crazy, man. We get on it and we're running, and where are we going? But we're going faster and faster and higher and bigger profits and faster and faster. At what cost? This is the cost. So this is nature's way of saying stop, slow down, and reevaluate. And it's certainly not pleasant for any of us, because right now, as we record this, we're sitting in the middle of it, and I don't know how things are going to turn out, but I'm optimistic that in time, whatever that means, this is going to be a much better earth.
I mean, well, this is the first time in my life or any of our lives that something like this has happened, but it's not the first time that it's happened to us as a species, right? I mean, when you look at like the Spanish flu in 1812 and
Yeah.
all of those other things. So, I mean, I have no doubt that we'll overcome it. It's just a matter of what does the new normal look like?
Well, that's exactly right. And we learned so many things. A big part of the Spanish flu and the things we learned with that is just washing your hands and sanitation, things we just didn't know. So now we know those things. I hope one of the things, as we talked about, we learn out of this one is the impact of electromagnetic fields on our health. And it's like, well, how does that relate to the body? Any stressor we have, the more stressors we have from the foods we eat, the water we drink, the stuff we're smelling, chemicals, toxins, and then these EMFs, it's just a huge compounding effect that makes us not be healthy. So the more people learn, and I see so many awesome docs out there now that are promoting this, as opposed to the fear around, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's how do I boost my immune system? How do I maintain the best health I can by removing the toxins, increasing the nutrition, and reducing stress as much as I possibly can. So that's my passion. That's what as I do webinars and podcasts, that's what I'm talking about as well. So I work with clients to help them, reduce anxiety. And if you have pain or can't sleep or digestive problems, that's the kind of things that I like to help folks with.
And when you do that, it spills into everything else, right? Because it just makes your overall experience of life better. You think clearer, you're more energetic, you're more optimistic. I know when I went through, when I was an athlete my whole life and through high school and up until when I started working, and I did an apprenticeship and was going to college at the same time and was working full time. And that whole, all of the stress, the hours, the food that I was eating, because I was a chef, it was really tasty food. It just wasn't the best for me. All of those things turned into this perfect storm. I wasn't sleeping well, turned into this
Yeah.
perfect storm, and I gained a lot of weight. And not only did I realize that it was taking a toll on my body, and not so much physical, because I was, I was in my early 20s. I still had some muscle mass, but it took a little toll on my body, but it took an even bigger toll on my mood and my
Yeah.
thoughts and the way that I showed up and the way I reacted to situations and to people. And that's why I thought, the thing that I have the most control over and the fastest is my health. So that's why I called my
Yeah.
father, and he coached me through it using intermittent fasting. And I lost 70 pounds in 6 months, felt better
Mm.
than I ever felt, but that changed my whole attitude. And it
Yeah.
changed the way I saw the world, and it changed the way that I interacted and experienced the world. So I think that, to me, is probably the thing that people, the biggest benefit anyway, from my perspective, is not only did I feel better physically, but the world changed around me just by me changing myself physically. And
Yeah,
it went
that's
in
so
the
so true,
things.
man. It's so true. I mean, one of the things I talk about, I closed this really big deal in IBM. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I got sick. And what I learned along the way is what you're just saying is that, when you have your health, you can do anything. We can achieve so many things, as all of your listeners are wanting to do, right? Is how do I, achieve and succeed and do all these things? You can do all that stuff. When you don't have your health, none of that stuff matters anymore, because it's just, everything's about, I don't feel good. What am I going to do? I feel like getting out of bed in the morning. And given these crazy times that we're in right now, it's really a challenge, even when you're eating right and doing the right lifestyle, because there's just these waves and cycles of life that's just tough. And that's the new normal at the moment. And I'm ready for that to balance out, but I don't know when that will happen.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for being here, for doing the podcast. That was so much fun, and for doing this casual conversation here, which was equally as fun. And I learned so much, and I can't wait. Now you have chia on my mind, because we talked about that
Good.
in the podcast. I'm going to go dump some chia in my water and have a big gulp. But so thanks for everything. JohnAyo.com is where you can go find more about him. That's JOHNAYO.com, and also grab a copy of his book, Travel Balance is the title, while you're there. John, thanks so much, man. This has been great, and let's talk again real soon.
Hey, Mario, that's awesome, man. Thank you.